The Price of Love. Once upon a time, there lived a successful and wealthy woman named Vanessa Lawson. Vanessa had built her life from the ground up, becoming a renowned entrepreneur and business mogul. She was the CEO of a tech company and had everything she could ever want: luxury cars, a beautiful mansion, and all the financial security she could dream of. Yet, despite all the success and wealth, there was a void in her heart. She longed for true love, something deeper than what her high society life offered. She wanted companionship, someone to share her life and passions with. It was at a charity event, one of those lavish gatherings where the rich and powerful mingled, that Vanessa met Jason Carter. He was a man unlike any she had ever known. His demeanor was humble, his clothes were far from the designer brands that graced the bodies of the other men at the event, and his life was very different from hers. He was a struggling artist, working odd jobs to make ends meet. But there was something magnetic about him, a quiet charm that drew Vanessa in. They spent the evening talking about everything and nothing, and by the end of the night, Vanessa knew there was something special about him. As weeks passed, Vanessa and Jason grew closer. He was kind, attentive, and made her feel seen in a way no one else had. Vanessa found herself falling in love with him, something she had never expected. Her friends, Maya and Olivia, were skeptical from the beginning. Maya, always the more cautious of the two, would often say, "Vanessa, don't you think you're giving him too much? You have everything, and he has nothing. Be careful, my friend." Olivia, though more adventurous, still warned her. "You're a powerful woman, Vanessa. You don't need a man to define your worth. Don't let your feelings cloud your judgment. There's something about him that feels off." But Vanessa was blinded by love. She ignored their concerns, believing that Jason truly cared for her, and in return, she poured everything she could into the relationship. She gave him money to support his art, paid for his bills, and even helped him with his career. She told herself that love wasn't about material wealth, it was about the connection they shared. She wanted to believe that Jason was the man who would make her life complete. As their relationship deepened, Vanessa began pushing Jason to commit further. She longed for more, she wanted to marry him. She'd bring up the topic casually at first, but soon, it became a constant subject. "Jason," she'd say softly, "I think we're ready to take the next step. You're my person. Will you marry me?" Jason would smile gently, always with a hint of reluctance. "Not yet, Vanessa. Let's take our time. I'm not ready to make such a big decision right now. I need time to think." Vanessa, though frustrated, remained patient. She believed that with time, Jason would come around. She was convinced that love would conquer all. She continued to invest more of herself, emotionally, financially, and mentally, into the relationship, ignoring the subtle warnings from her friends. Her life revolved around him. One day, while she was in her office, something unexpected happened. Vanessa received an anonymous message. The contents of the message were short but shocking. "Jason Carter is married, and his wife is pregnant. You've been played." Vanessa's heart skipped a beat. She tried to brush it off at first, but the nagging thought wouldn't leave her mind. She began doing her own research, contacting mutual acquaintances, and gradually piecing together the truth. Jason, the man she had fallen in love with, was indeed married. His wife, a quiet woman named Rachel, was pregnant with their child. The world around Vanessa crumbled. How could she have been so blind? How could she have invested so much in a man who had lied to her? The shock and heartbreak were unbearable. The image of the man she thought she knew, this person who had promised her the world, shattered into 1,000 pieces. She confronted Jason. His response was cold, almost indifferent. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Vanessa. I just wasn't ready for the kind of commitment you wanted. I'm sorry, but I have a family now. You have to let me go." Devastated, Vanessa locked herself away from the world for days. She didn't want to see anyone, not even her friends. How could she have been so foolish? The shame was overwhelming. It felt like the love she had given had been wasted, her time stolen. For the first time in years, she felt like a failure. Her friends, Maya and Olivia, were there for her every step of the way. They visited her, listened to her, and slowly helped her rebuild her sense of self-worth.
Maya would remind her, Vanessa, you're not defined by one person's mistakes. You are strong, successful, and capable of so much more. Olivia, always the more optimistic one, would encourage her to keep going. You deserve someone who loves you the way you love them, without games or lies. Slowly, with their support, Vanessa began to heal. She immersed herself in her work again, rediscovering the passion that had once fueled her success. She traveled, spent time with her loved ones, and focused on her personal growth. It wasn't easy, and there were days when the pain of betrayal would resurface, but over time, she learned to trust herself again. At 38, years after her painful breakup with Jason, Vanessa attended a business conference in New York. She wasn't looking for love, she had learned that it couldn't be rushed. But fate had other plans. During a keynote speech, she met someone new. His name was Ethan Matthews. Ethan was kind, intelligent, and had a warmth about him that immediately drew her in. They spoke for hours that evening, discovering mutual interests and values. Unlike Jason, Ethan had his own life, his own career, and wasn't looking for someone to save him. Over time, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. Ethan respected Vanessa for who she was, not for her wealth or status. He valued her for her heart, her intelligence, and her independence. For the first time, Vanessa felt truly seen, not as a means to an end but as a person in her own right. They were both older, wiser, and more certain of what they wanted from life. Eventually, after a few years of dating, Ethan proposed to Vanessa in a quiet, intimate setting, a stark contrast to the grand gestures of her past. This time, Vanessa didn't need the world to know about her love. She had learned that true love wasn't about the external displays, it was about the quiet moments, the support, and the partnership that grew with time. On a sunny afternoon, at the age of 40, Vanessa Lawson married Ethan Matthews in a ceremony that was simple yet perfect. Surrounded by her closest friends, Maya and Olivia, and her family, she felt a peace she had never known before. She had learned the hardest lesson of all, that love was not about what you gave, but about who you gave it to and whether they truly valued you in return. And so, Vanessa's story came full circle. From the heartbreak of betrayal to the fulfillment of finding true love, she had learned that sometimes, the greatest success in life isn't found in business or wealth, but in the ability to love and be loved truly, without conditions or games.